2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brandon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us.
I'm in limbo land, and I don't know what to do.
Welcome to the Real Talk Recovery Podcast with the Therapy Brothers.
We're brothers, we're therapists, and we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
I'm in limbo land, and I don't know what to do.
This is going to be an interesting topic today, Brandon. I think there's going to be a lot of people that will relate to this one.
Have you ever worked with anyone in limbo, Tyler?
Isn't that the nature of therapy, right? Like,
yes,
people come to us
exactly.
because they are in limbo and they don't know what to do. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Speaking of limbo, sounds like you've had quite the event going on around your household this last week.
Yeah. Limbo, it's interesting. My kids aren't that old, but we're starting to take care of parents now. So we're somewhere in the middle here. And it's life. Life's a beautiful thing. And it provides a lot of opportunities for growth. Right?
I love the attitude.
Yes.
So Brandon's doing a really good job right now of there's a lot on his plate. He's figuring out how to take care of an aging parent at the same time that he's trying to run the household with his kids. And then you throw COVID into the mix and it makes it really messy. So
yeah, COVID, diabetes, and all kinds of stuff.
All sorts of stuff.
Mental illness, but yeah, it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah. So
all right. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Let's jump in.
Let's do it. So we have Renee here, and Renee claims that she's in limbo, and so she has some questions for us. And hopefully, as we talk, we might not get you totally out of limbo, but hopefully we can provide some clarity and just make the path forward a bit more clear. So, Renee, welcome to the show. If you'd like to start by just kind of introducing yourself and telling us about your situation and what's actually going on, and then ask us any questions from there.
Thanks for your show. Thanks for your help to others, and podcasts are great. I'm an information junkie, so here I am. And I'm a mom of 3 boys, 23, 21, and 17. And 3.5 years after discovery and probably 3 years of more and more discovery, and just over 3 years of being separated. And
How long have you been married, Renee?
26 years,
Okay.
I think, something like that.
So it was 23 years until you discovered anything.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a peaceful marriage, but I am you do what you have to do to make things work, and if it's not working, you keep searching for what works.
Mm-hmm.
I believe God wants your marriage to glorify Him, and I only want a marriage that glorifies Him. So if my marriage will not glorify Him, I will not be married.
But right there, you could kind of hear the stuckness, right? Like, what do you do?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I feel like I've been in limbo. Part of my question I sort of rephrased for today was, am I crazy or am I hopeful? Sort of where I am. And it's sort of looking at all of the things your husband is doing and wondering if your husband is actually living recovery. I don't believe my husband has made it into recovery, accepting that he needs recovery. I don't believe he would agree with that. And yet here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe I don't have any trust or safety with my husband, which is, I say, is why we're still separated. I do not want to be separated.
Well,
And my limbo.
Renee, hang on a second. Why, and this might seem like a dumb question, but why don't you have trust or safety with him?
He has not done things along the way that I believe build trust. I have discovered more and more. Like I discovered the latest affair, then I discovered 3 more. And then it hasn't been a history over the 3 years of, this is what I'm going to do to show you that I am committed. I feel like I've seen a lot of what he's done to show what he's going to do, like a Bible study, and he goes to church and he feels very safe, I believe, where he is. I don't believe he's stretched himself. And he read a book about being worthy of my trust. And he said, so what and I read the book, and he said, so what in there could I do that would help? What's one thing? And I said, okay, here's one thing. You could share with me what's going on in your counseling, what's going on in your guy that you meet with every week. And he was like, oh, okay. And you could share with me too. And I'm like, yes. And I think I've expressed wanting to know that about what's going on with him and what he's learning. And I've expressed that for over 2 years, and it's still not happening.
He's pretty closed book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I can believe that that is a hard thing to do. Yet if you want to be with me, if you want to build relationship with me, if you want to have a marriage with me, I have made it very clear that that's what I need in my husband. That's what I need in my marriage. And he has said that that's what he will do. And I don't see it.
So Renee, just make sure I'm on the same page with you guys. I just detail wise first, you've been separated for 3 years. Is that correct?
3+, yes.
3+ years since D-Day. Since then, you've been finding stuff out. You've been kind of navigating this. Here's how you could help build trust. Here's what, would work, but then it doesn't seem to work. In those 3 years, that's a pretty long time. I can see why you're feeling like you're in limbo. I kind of wondering, what's kept you around for 3 years?
Probably the hope that kept me around for 20+ years, that that this is going to work, that this is where God wants me, and I almost hate saying this. I do hate saying this, the hope in who I know this man can be, the hope in who I know this man can be in God. And I can't make him a different person. And that leads me to my question of, because I feel like I've spent time trying couples counseling, I've been in individual counseling from the beginning, and we've done couples counseling sort of, with a lay couple, waste of time, with couples counseling here and there. And I just don't think he gets the magnitude of what he has done. And
Renee, can I ask you something?
Mhm.
I really like the word hope better than fear. But what I want to ask you is when Tyler asked you, why are you staying around? You said hope. And
Mhm.
but my question is what fears are keeping you around? What fears are keeping you in right now?
I don't have a fear of being alone.
Okay. Do you have a fear of what others might think or what God might think?
No, I believe that I have every right, freedom to walk away. I believe over this time period, I know that I have found pretty much the resources to help us. I don't believe my husband has gone out and said, let's try this, and let's try this, and let's try this.
Well, so I'm just want to say this really fast, but like fear financially or fear about how it might affect your boys, are any of those fears there?
I think they would prefer that we be divorced. So
Your boys?
yeah.
Okay.
I think they would like the finality of something.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they understand why I'm still trying, why I'm still here, why do I even think that there's still a chance. And I don't have a fear, I believe, of what people will think. Do I want to be divorced? No.
Right.
Do I want this marriage to my husband for the rest of my life? Yes.
Right.
Do I believe that we have one last resource workshop that we're getting ready to try. And we started working with this group. He will try anything. It's me bringing it to the table.
Right.
And I feel like this is my last hope. This is my last thing.
Yeah.
And because people are like, when do you give up? When do you say enough is enough? And I feel like this last thing that we're going to try with this group out in Colorado is, you know what? I said, we're going to try this. And you know what? It has taken us 5 months to get started with this group. I'm like, God, how much longer do I have to wait for something to find out if this is going to work?
Right.
And I don't know if this last thing is going to help, but I do feel like I have sort of set this last thing out there as, you know what? And even this group has said, Renee, if you don't see things working or changing in 1 month of working with us, then just pull the plug. You're not tied to us for 6 months. Just pull the plug. And that is fearful to me, is to step into this group and to work with them and to think, all right, I said, we're going to try this. There's nothing else to try. I can't like step out of them and then go to you guys and say, okay, can you help us? I'm like done after this.
Right.
There's nothing else I can pull out of my hat. And this is it. And I told Scott, I told my husband, I said, this is the last thing. If this doesn't work, then, and he was like, so it's probably a divorce if this doesn't work. And I'm like, yeah. And I think he was surprised, but I felt like I needed to say that.
Right. As you're talking, Renee, and this is maybe going along with what Brandon's question was, it sounds like you're doing your own internal work to try to say, okay, look, I am trying to be hopeful. I'm a woman of faith, obviously, can tell your faith is really important to you. As you're talking, it sounds like you've been the one who's been driving all of the solutions so far. And I wonder if that's part of the issue that you're finally coming to is that you're finally coming to a place where you're realizing that you being the driver isn't necessarily going to fix anything. And I'm thinking about, the whole story of Abraham and Isaac, when in the Bible, when Abraham's commanded by God to take Isaac up into the mountains and create an altar, and then God tells him to sacrifice his own son, right? And Abraham's like, well, geez, like imagine the amount of faith that it took to have to surrender his own son. And he had to be willing to go to that length of pure, full, complete surrender before the answer came.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear you working yourself closer and closer. If we were to kind of take that same analogy and go, wow, you've been carrying your husband's work for 3.5 years. But what if you brought yourself to a place where you would be willing to let go of your husband and your marriage and give that back to God, and then let God fill in the gaps as to how that's going to play out? That part might be scary. That might be like, wow, like what if God does move me towards a divorce? And I'm a person of faith who believes so strongly in marriage, and you've got 20 plus years under your belt, like, but I have to surrender my husband, his recovery, even the outcome of my marriage over to something bigger than myself.
And I think that's very confusing. It's very confusing to believe in a God who believes in marriage, and yet to say, well, my husband is not a person that I can be married to and have a marriage that glorifies God.
Do you believe God believes in your marriage, Renee?
I do.
I agree with you. Do you also believe that God believes and lives by the principle of agency and personal choice?
Yes.
Yeah. So just to kind of keep going where Tyler's going with this, Renee, there's this really kind of tricky thing that happens with infidelity and betrayal and sex addiction. A sex addict will hang on and hang on and hang on and hang on sometimes and not want to get divorced and act out and act out and act out and act out. And the spouse comes and says, look, here am I. Like the true me with my boundaries is somebody who values fidelity, values trust, wants intimacy. Like this is the real me. And if you want to choose in to our marriage, then I need you to choose that. And it's twisted because a lot of times the spouse is the one that walks away, and it looks like she's the one giving up and she's the one walking. And in reality, the addict is the one that chooses his addiction over the marriage. The addict over and over again is saying, I'm not choosing the marriage. But I'm hanging it on you in order to actually finally make that decision. And so then you feel like the one that's, letting God down or whatever. Right. Renee, I'm kind of struggling because like me and Tyler can never tell you when it's the right time to say, that's between you and God. It truly is. How long do you need to learn? How long do you need to grow? How long do you need to stay in? We don't know that. You know that between you and God. But here's my struggle. My struggle is, are you using hope as a form of denial? I think about this, going to this thing in Colorado. How proactive was he in initiating that? How willing is he to engage? Recovery is easy to see. We can Tyler and I can lay out some bullet points that you could grade your husband, on a scale of 1 to 10. And you can see the reality is he is choosing his addiction over being a healthily attached, vulnerable human being who's in recovery. Maybe we go through that scale and you're like, actually, he's in a lot more recovery than I want to give him credit for. You smile.
I know I'm a hard ass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Renee, I want to ask you, on a scale of, you don't need to answer this. Just want you to think about it. A scale of 1 to 10, one being not at all, 10 being completely, how honest is he? Not just to your face, not just yes and no, not just when he gets interrogated, but how open, vulnerable, transparent, and honest is he? On a scale of 1 to 10, how is he able to empathize and be curious with you and your pain? Like, is he good at that? Is he really bad at that? Right? These are the things that we look at for recovery. How consistent is he and proactive is he with himself, with stepping into his own stuff and dealing with his own stuff, not because he's compelled to, but because he has that internal motivation. If he has the ability to be honest, the ability to empathize, and the self-determination and proactivity, boom, he can create safety. He can create trust. If he doesn't have those things, but he's smiling and going to Bible study and saying I think I'm getting sober.
God is good.
Yeah, God is good. That's not recovery. That's not recovery. And you can spend so much money and so much more time, Renee, and all this stuff. And that hope will keep you hanging on of okay, at least he'll go with me to Colorado. But if none of that stuff is happening, if he had no initiative to go to Colorado, he didn't drum it up and say, hey, let's go do this, then I'm worried for you, Renee, that you're going to spend more time, more money. And so I don't know him. I have no idea, right? You know the answers to those questions that I just asked you. But be as real with yourself as you can be. And then take that to God and then get that answer from God. So any other thoughts, Tyler?
I'm actually just wondering what you're feeling right now Renee, as Brandon's kind of laying this out in the way he's laying it out?
Well, back to the scale you gave me, I'd probably give him about a 2, which I think is very sad.
Overall?
Overall.
Yeah.
And to excuse it, because I do not like excuses, he has not had what I would consider real help with infidelity. I feel like we have had help with, this is how you two communicate. This is how you two need to work on your communication. And I'm just like, that is a waste of my time.
Renee, this is not a marriage issue. This is an addiction we're talking about. You got to address the wedge between first. He's got to deal with that addiction and find recovery. And then we can work on the marriage.
And he has men in his life that I believe keep him comfortable working on where he is. And that doesn't give me safety. That doesn't make me feel like he's pushing himself.
Are you talking about guys he meets at church and 12-step group and like
only church?
Church.
He had one counselor, the one he's seeing now, who was our couples counselor, and then worked with him while I was going, worked with him and talked to him about his narcissistic personality and his characteristics. And I was like, I'm just sitting here and we're not getting anywhere 6-8 months down the road. I'm like, this guy is not helping us at all. Why don't you go? And so he's been going to see him. And now what he's been getting out of him has been coming back to me as, Scott, I see the problem. Your relationship with Renee is, compared to all these other couples I'm seeing, is she needs to forgive you. and I'm like, no, that is not the problem. And Scott, if you want to continue living this life as a martyr, that's your choice. So I don't, and of course he loves to hear that because he's the good guy. And and he is, God love him, which I try to love him too. Head in the clouds, oblivious, because he thinks he's getting the help he needs. But I'm over here saying, that is not the infidelity help you need. You are not able to help me with triggers. You're not able to do this. You're not able to handle the things that are needed to be handled with betrayal trauma, with infidelity. I've studied this for 3 years now. I know a lot more than I ever wanted to know. And I have found betrayal trauma help. And he has not. This group that we're getting ready to work with sums him up, puts him in his place in 5 minutes. And Scott has watched their videos. He's done their workshops while we're waiting to get into their course. So I do see that type of work and commitment.
But Renee, the question is how many times did he cheat on you?
What do you mean times?
Like how many different affairs did he have? I guess how many different women? I don't know if you know that or not.
It's 4 women.
Okay.
It's a intimacy aversion with me. And it's an intimacy relationship. One intimacy relationship he carried on with a woman through our whole marriage.
Okay.
That's one woman. Another woman was for about 4 years. And then the next woman, that was an emotional. The next woman right after that was 2 years, and that was emotional and physical.
So here's the reason I asked that is, so it sounds like he's having long-term relationships that include some type of intimacy with these women, multiple throughout your marriage, and hiding those things and in secrecy. The question is so we can focus on he's had affairs, like he has cheated, he's got compulsive behavior. We can focus on the behavior. My question is why? What's at the root? What's underneath? And
That's
so
my question.
yeah. And that needs to be dealt with in order for things to shift. He can stop the behavior. He can get his feet held to the fire about how much denial he's in and how he needs to get out of that denial. But that pain that he's trying to soothe, or that void that he's trying to fill with these affairs and with that's what needs to be looked at and addressed in order for the shift to happen that you ultimately want to happen.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, and Brandon, to go along with that, everything you're saying is absolutely true. And Renee, you have almost zero control over whether or not that work's going to happen. And you are not the answer
True.
to his issues.
Nor are you the problem. You're not the answer or the problem. And coming back to what Tyler keeps getting at, you're going to have to surrender him over. Do you understand what we mean by that?
That may or may not mean divorce, but it's the letting go that continually is, you're getting closer to. I can hear it in you. You're almost there.
And I think that's my question, is letting go of the marriage, or even working on the marriage. Like, do I even hold on to hope of the marriage? And then can I even work on the marriage? And then can I even do that and work on me and find out who I am?
I sometimes work this really good question, and I can hear how your heart's being torn back and forth trying to figure this stuff out. And one thing that I would suggest is that the answer is a little bit complicated, but if you were to put your marriage out in front of you and then move it off to your peripheral vision, and then put your own heart, your own recovery, your own desire to be the very best person, healed person you could be, and right in front of you, that the byproduct of your work for yourself to be a woman who lives with integrity and a woman who lives with patience and love, and the therapist is right, even though it may or may not save your marriage, forgiveness, all of that stuff.
Tyler just said the F word.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. But all of that stuff that not only yields results for you as a person, regardless of whether or not your marriage works out, but it's about the only thing you have control over to help things go right in your marriage.
Mhm.
And the more the focus gets put on him and the marriage, the less energy you have to work on your own growth, healing, recovery. And so, yes, should you have hope in your marriage? Absolutely. Hope's a wonderful thing. Should you live reality based on the man he is today and the work he's doing instead of the man he's going to be eventually someday when I'm the one who irons him into being the perfect man? Like, no, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to get busy working on the fact that he's at honesty, he's a 2, at proactiveness, he's a 2. That means I'm going to have to do some things for my own heart to protect myself today. I'm going to live with love. I'm going to be understanding. I'm going to be forgiving, and I'm going to make choices to live inside of my own values. And the beautiful thing that you have going for you right now, that's always a wrestle too, is you are working with God. You're going to God. You feel connected to God. Like, you know the true source to go to. It's just a matter of being able to start laying some of those other things down. The women that I work with so often, I call it the surrender moment, where they're finally able to sort of give him and the outcome of their marriage back to God and say, God, I'm going to keep doing the best I can. I'm going to keep making these decisions based on my values and what I think is right between you and me. And I really, really want my marriage to work. But if not, just like Christ did in the Garden of Gethsemane, hey, please come take this pain from me. But if not, I'll do thy will. Like, that's the attitude. And when you have that attitude, it's the weirdest thing, but there's this freedom that comes. There's this peace that comes.
I was reading, I was studying Genesis, and I think who was it? Benjamin's father, when Joseph wanted Benjamin to come to Egypt.
Yep.
And he didn't want Benjamin to go to Egypt because he was afraid that Benjamin was going to die. And he was like, well, if my sons die, my sons die.
Mm-hmm.
And
Surrender.
I was reading that and I was like, well, if I'm divorced, I'm divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of my moment that is still like in the forefront of my mind, that if I'm divorced, I'm divorced. And there's still there's still this thing out there that we are going to go work on. And I asked what I'm supposed to do with this thing we're going to go work on in Colorado. And they're like, Renee, you don't have to do anything. It's everything that he has to do.
No, Renee, I got a question for you. I don't agree with that, by the way. If you can't tell. So let's say that I get in a car accident and somebody intentionally hits me and I break both of my legs. Okay. So now both my legs are completely broken. I'm at home and I can't walk at all. Now I'm sitting at home and I'm focused on them. Well, why aren't they here helping? Why aren't they paying for my treatment? Why aren't they doing things to make this better? Like they shouldn't they? They broke my legs. They should make this better. And what would you say to that, Renee?
That's true.
They can't make it better.
They can't, can they?
No.
Okay. Like but here's the thing. Okay, so I do what Tyler says and I say, okay, I'm going to surrender and I'm just gonna get myself healthy. I'm going to look at this as an opportunity to grow, to strengthen my legs, to focus on my self-care, to spend more time with God because now I have time because I'm sitting around at my house. Like the reality is this person came and broke my legs. I can focus on them all day long. But guess what? Let's say if I surrender and I do all this work and I get healthier, the reward at the end of that is I get to get divorced. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is such a great position to be in. But let's come back for a second, Renee. Should I do that work? Should I do the rehab? What do you think?
Well, you have to do rehab for yourself.
Yeah. So I that's why I cringe a little when they say let's just focus on him and he's got to fix all this. I agree. Like it's not cool that he ran into you with his car and busted you up, so to speak. Not cool. Not okay. But like you have betrayal trauma. Ouch. You're hurting. And Renee, you can take this, and you know this. I can tell you know this from all of your work with God. You can take this, and this can be one of the most important challenges and trials that leads you to growth and strength and power as a woman. And the way that you do that is not to just sit back and say, I'm just going to wait for you. I'm just going to wait for you to fix this. Mm-hmm. It's to step in to say, what am I learning? How am I growing? You said it earlier. You said something like, I want to figure myself out. Mm-hmm. What is pushing you to figure yourself out more than this challenge right now, this limbo that you're in, right? It's a great opportunity for you. But it comes back then to what Tyler's been bringing up is that, like Abraham, you got to be willing to let the cards fall where they may. It's faith, right?
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
ultimate faith to God's will. Like, in my opinion, would you rather live in kind of a hell where you're stuck and not progressing and not growing? Or would you rather move forward and possibly get divorced? What would God rather have you do?
He would rather me move forward and be whole and healthy with him.
No question.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is that God can help you to do that, whether you're in or out of your marriage, and that maybe the vehicle that has been part of that journey is this disaster that you found yourself in because of your husband's choices. But the answer that Brandon's getting to is, when the surrender comes, it doesn't even mean the choice is made to get divorced or not. What it means is, I now realize there are things beyond my control that only God can work out. And I'm willing to do whatever is necessary, knowing that if I continue to do my work, God will help this to be something that transforms me into a continually better and more wholehearted person. Yeah. And that's the work. And that can lead to that in a weird way, because it does mean, okay, the answer is I got to maybe look at a divorce, and that's my reward for having done all of this. Well, maybe that's what ends up happening. It might not be. Maybe you go through a divorce and your heart's still saying, I know it's going to work out, but now you can let him work his own out. And maybe you're available at some point when he's ready to come back and live by the values you've learned. Who knows how it plays out? It doesn't matter ultimately how it plays out, as long as you've done the work to stay connected to God and giving over to him what is his and owning what he's given you to own. That's it. Mm-hmm. And that's hard. That's really hard. It's a lot easier for me to sit here and preach and say it than it is to actually do it,
Renee, me and my wife got in a nice, good fight this week, and I won the fight, so it's all better now.
Oh, good, Brandon. Yeah,
that's all.
Awesome.
That's all I wanted to say. No, I'm just kidding. We got in a fight, and it's interesting because and all of my therapy skills and this, and it goes out the window. Like my humanness comes out, and the ugliness and whatever. But one thing that's beautiful is that my wife and I are both committed to growth and to moving forward and to learning together. We're committed to that. So we have this bump in the road, and it's hard. But then ultimately it ended up, it's awesome. Like we got closer as a result of this thing. And to me, that's what marriage is. Like that is marriage. If marriage is not being drugged down further away from God by my partner, right? And so that's a boundary for me, is I need that in my marriage. And I would hope that my wife has that boundary with me as well, right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What are you feeling, Renee? What are you thinking?
I really struggle with and I feel like I twist things in my brain, but I really struggle when I hear how I'm going to be a much better person because of what he did. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God, there were so many other ways I could be a better person.
Yeah.
I was seeking him. I was surrendering my husband and my marriage to him before all of this. I was.
Yes.
And because I found out about all of this because my husband did all of this. This is supposed to be something that's great. This is nothing that's great. This is nothing I see as great. And thank you that I'm walking close to God. I was walking close to God before.
Renee, I want you to know that, like, I just want to screw that. Like, yeah, thanks. Like, I get to learn this. But what I mean by that is part of getting to that place one day of thank you, God, for this trial is to allow yourself to be pissed, is to allow yourself to be angry. And this is unfair. This is not okay. And you didn't deserve this. All of those things are absolutely true. And it's okay for you to feel those things. I hope you know that.
I also just want to echo that, Renee. I can see it in your face. I know that our listeners can't see it, but I see your pain. I see the anguish. I see your heart and how hard you've worked and how terrible this feels. And then to get two therapists telling you this is all going to work together for your good. I get it. It's hard to hear that. And I just want you to know that I see your pain. I have this thought, and this is maybe not the most like eloquent way to put it, but I view life sometimes happening this way just due to the fact that we're humans and we make choice and we screw up sometimes, all of us, but we walk around this world and there's like big turds falling from the sky, and occasionally we get dropped on by just a massive piece of turd. And we're sitting there in it, and after it happens, through no fault of our own, we're sitting there in it, and we're the ones who are paying the price, and it stinks, and it feels terrible, and it paralyzes us, and it stops us from being able to move. And the simple truth is that it's wrong, and yet it's happened. And so now it leaves us in that spot where I either get a chance to climb out of it, to clean myself off, and to keep moving. Maybe that's worth doing. Maybe I sit in it and I complain to the world about how bad it stinks and how unfair it is, and I can stay justified and I can be right for as long as I want, but I'll just still be miserable sitting in a piece of turd. Or the third option is that it has happened through no fault of my own. And as a result of it happening, the only thing that can make it worth happening now is that I might find some meaning or purpose in it happening. And so if I can give that to God and allow God to potentially help me with my growth in it, then there's actually maybe some reason why this hellish thing has happened and I've had to go through it.
But Tyler, I want to interject here. I love this principle. I love what you're saying. And it's a process. So when you're sitting in the stink, sometimes it just stinks, and it's a process to start to dig out, right?
Well, so yeah.
It's not that you can say to Renee right now, like, hey, like you can turn, this can be fertilizer. This is awesome.
Yeah, it is fertilizer.
And she's like, yay, right? No.
No. And Brandon, to what you're saying, and I like what you said earlier, is that part of that process, and this is something that I felt like was really authentic from you, Renee, today, is for being someone who believes so firmly in a Heavenly Father who loves you and a God who cares for you. There was some authentic feeling that came out here, even towards him today, that was real, that I think God can hold, which is that, yeah, you're hurting and you're a little bit upset about this, and it wasn't fair. And part of the process is to allow yourself to actually acknowledge that that's how you're feeling, and maybe even take that to God. I think that's an appropriate thing to do. I think, Brandon, you're spot on. That's part of the process of climbing out.
Yeah.
Is to allow that space to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's part of climbing out, but I don't think we get answers to why. Like, my family was in a car accident when I was 12, and my 10-year-old brother died.
Gosh.
I don't get a why to that.
No.
I don't get what was the purpose in that?
Right.
Do I get a why to that? And I'm 40 years later, you're going to tell me there was a purpose in that. My mom had to lose her son.
Right.
I had to lose my brother. There's not a good reason for that.
I don't think
For
we
a
do.
little 10-year-old.
I don't think we do sometimes, Renee. I really don't. And I think that's
for
one of
me
the
to sit here and to say, yeah, I'm going to figure out why this happened to me. I'm going to figure out that one day.
But Renee, you might not figure out why. You might not know why. But there is a guarantee, something that's crystal clear, which is you might not figure out why, but you do have the power within you to move forward, to get unstuck. That's a reality that is within you. And we might not have the answers as to why your husband did all this stuff, right? And you can be free. You don't have to stay in this place of pain for the rest of your life. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wish it was easier to just say what he did doesn't hurt me anymore. And what he did was his decision. And I'm not part of his decision. He has free will. And it doesn't hurt. It's not my pain. I wish it was just easy to just put it over there and be done with it.
Right.
And you just have to like control those thoughts and those emotions and move on because they're so personal
and painful.
And they did them to you. But to believe that they're not about you, and for me to get over looking in the mirror and to tell myself that I'm not so ugly. It's like, I never did that before. I believed that my husband was attracted to me. And I have to constantly remind myself that it's not about that. And that makes you angry. I have to deal with that. Does he know that? Probably not.
He doesn't get to see that pain.
No.
And that's not fair. Yeah.
No, but it's not fair. It will never be fair. You can't make it fair. You can't make it even. There's no way to make it up.
Renee, we're running low on time, but I just want to say this. You have done something on this episode today that's really important. You have allowed those struggling with similar things to feel and see what the grief feels like, the pain feels like. And this, what you're doing here, is absolutely healthy. It's good. And so for you to have these feelings, to have this frustration and pain and anger, it's good. It's okay. This is not denial. This is you stepping into that pain. Okay. Now on an hour show here, I mean, I would love to process you for another 3 hours right now. But I want to encourage you to, and it's what Tyler said too, take this pain to God. Cry, yell, feel it, go there, because you absolutely have reason to, right? And that's where you're at right now. And in an hour show, Tyler and me insinuating at all to like, hey, you're going to be happy and everything's going to be better. And that is jumping the gun with where you're at right now. Right. I also don't want you to waste time, waste money, and hang on to false hope. Right. I don't want that to happen either. I don't want any more pain coming your way. So Tyler, did you have any last thoughts for Renee?
No, just to express gratitude to you, Renee, for bringing your real self on today. I know for a fact there are some women listening to this right now going, "Ah, me too. I feel the same way." And maybe it's okay that I feel the same way and I don't have to put on a happy face and pretend everything's great and that God's got me and he's holding me. And maybe I am in a rough spot right now and it's okay. It's human to be right where you're at. And I appreciate your courage. Thank you. It took a lot for you to be able to come share yourself the way that you did today. I'm convinced, and I know that we're not there in your process yet, but I am convinced that there is beauty and life and vibrance on the other side of these struggles, and that it's okay to be right where you're at. As Robert Frost said, the best way out is always through. And you're in the dark middle part right now, and that's okay. So,
Well, my husband does like constantly compare us or pressure me to move back in. Like things will just be better if he moves back in. And I'm like, I need safety and I need to know that I can trust you.
Absolutely.
And I need to know that we're moving forward as a couple. It's not just to be roommates. It's
Yes.
not just to be convenient for him. And to stand that ground, to have that boundary has been very hard because I'm taking care of a house. Thank you, God, that he's paying for everything. But to just be compared to other couples, like, well, they moved back in and they worked things out. It's like to know that that's where I need to stand and to be able to stand that boundary is hard when he's a bully. But you have to stand up and say, no, you're not giving me what I need to be here in this house with me.
And Renee, as a professional and an expert on betrayal trauma, I back you up 100% in that. Have that boundary. You need safety before you're going to engage further. And so, yes, you're doing the right thing and it's extremely hard. But keep doing it. That takes courage. And so stick with that. Renee, we have to wrap up. I hate to wrap up right now, but I appreciate you today. Thank you so much. You guys, if you liked this episode, if you know anybody that feels like Renee and this shed any light, or if they just feel something when they listen to this, then please share it with them. And have a nice day. We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you guys later.